I don't know, just a quiz at the end of this week or something, and so you're like, oh, I just got to do 10 chapters and then I'm good. No, if you got really behind, you might have to do like 30 chapters or something. So don't get too far behind. This one's really long, and it has some monotonous passages that you go through where there's just a ton of dialogue, and then they don't even get to the point until like the very end, and you're like, I just spent 4 pages kind of just this back and forth. So I understand that Dickens is hard to read sometimes because he doesn't, in some of his books, he just doesn't write like other authors, other storytellers write. He really wants to make you feel how his characters are feeling, and so he just adds a whole lot into those descriptors and the dialogues that he has. All right, so we're going to look first, starting in chapter 1 of book the second. I might be taking a lot of drinks so that I don't start coughing. All right, so it's called 5 Years Later because it's 5 years later. This was a good stopping point. Yeah, I know. Shocking, right?
So it's not one.
Can you believe it?
1,700.
Why does it just skip 5 years?
Chapter 6 was 5 years later. I was like,
180.
what?
So
Yeah,
It's just like,
Riley had a good question. Why skip 5 years? Why just
Yeah.
5 years, or why 5 years at all?
all it says is
So-
like that the doctor became like more.
Yeah,
himself.
so this isn't just a story about characters. Remember, this is real events that happened. The French Revolution really happened, and so he's kind of taking you through before it, and now we're getting more into it. Okay, we're getting closer to certain events that are going to take place, and that's why he has to kind of speed the story along a little bit. All right, so it will make sense. It'll start to make sense as everything starts unfolding. It's not just random, like he's like, I don't know what to write about it. 5 years later, Lucy's in her early 20s. I don't know. No, this has a point to it, but the story slowly unfolds. It's a very slow, long process through this story. All right, so where are we as far as our setting in chapter 1?
Does it
Is it
start
with
out with
Jerry?
Mr. Cruncher? No, wait, it starts out at the bank.
We're at the bank. This is really important because we have a lot of setup with the way that the people were in Saint Antoine, for example, as far as how decrepit it was, how everyone was starving, how everyone was desperate, how everyone was rushing after this wine, and then their hands are stained, and it's all symbolic, right? That's going to be the theme running throughout. So every time you see this big setup where we have this long setting and he's just describing everything from the way it looked to the way it sounded to the way it smelled, everything, he's trying to make you understand that this is foreshadowing, or this is symbolism that is talking about not just the place but the events and the people. All right, so we have Tellson's Bank, and you would think a bank, which takes in a lot of revenue, you would assume it's probably going to be a pretty grand, a pretty nice place, right? Because that's what they deal in is money, right? People have to use a bank. Yes.
Weren't there heads on the bar?
We're going to get to that. You're right. There were.
Yay!
You got it. Yeah. So what does the bank look like?
Very old, musty.
Like one of those dark academia things where it's just like dark and dingy and like cloudy and just kind of
It's
gray.
disgusting. It's
renew it.
musty
Just
and
wanna
moldy
stay
and
in the
yes.
I don't know, it sounded nice.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Not very much
Everything
light,
is
right?
decaying. He says that several times. It's decaying. But not just the money and the assets and the furniture and the building are decaying. What else are decaying there? The people are decaying. How are the people decaying?
The heads off the corpses are decaying.
The heads are decaying. Why are there heads? Okay, it talks about Temple Bar, which is, it's this gateway arch, this very large grand gateway arch, and it's right next door to Tellson's Bank, and there are a bunch of heads that are just kind of rotting atop this gateway arch, just for everybody to see.
Must have missed that.
And small.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, let's see, it would be 1, 2, 3, the end of the third long paragraph there, the very end. It talks about the horror of being ogled through windows, by the heads of exposed on the temple bar with an insensate brutality and ferocity worthy of Abyssinia and Ashanti. Abyssinia and Ashanti are just places in Egypt. It's like Ethiopia. These are old empires that it's referring back to. So why does it look like this? What's happening to the people as they come and tell us in banks?
They're dying.
Well, it says
They're
the-
dying.
They don't show the old men, the young men until they return to camp.
They want it to
Yeah,
look
until
like
they're
that.
old and moldy.
Why do they want the bank to look like that?
They're proud of how
Oh, yeah,
old and
because they're-
decrepit it is.
Because they can like tell other people, oh, we didn't get our stuff all nice.
Yeah, they think maybe this makes them look more credible, less corrupt, right? This is almost I am abstaining from luxury and wealth, and so therefore we're better than the other banks, right?
Yeah.
That
we're
makes
gonna-
complete sense.
But, well, I mean, some people do believe this. This is asceticism,
We
right?
don't look like we have money, so we're better than everybody
Yeah,
else.
right, exactly. I will give that up for the good of everybody else. But yet, what is happening to people as they go in? People are literally dying going into Telson's Bank. Why?
Disease.
Disease, probably, the mold. Yeah. I mean, possibly, but a much more gruesome way that they're dying. People are getting accused of all kinds of things, forgery and
Stealing a person's
theft
horse.
and, huh?
Stealing a person's horse.
Yeah, and so Telson's Bank is not above accusing its own clients and customers of heinous crimes, and then them getting essentially beheaded, and then they're next door, their head's just sitting on the temple bar. So it's not a good place. It's very ominous. And yet people keep coming there because he says that it didn't deter people. Just because everybody keeps getting their heads chopped off from going into Telson's Bank and being accused of something, it hasn't deterred anyone. They're still doing a lot of business. People are still coming in. What does that tell you about how people view death and execution and crime back
I
then?
don't really care.
It's
just stuff.
just every day. This is normal. It's just stuff that happens. Yeah, death, it's all around. Just like the heads right outside, ogling us from the temple bar. All right, so skipping ahead just a little bit. What time does this class get out?
11.
11 o'clock even?
5, I think. Oh, 5.
Well, because we start chemistry at 11:15, so I don't know.
Okay, so I've got a few minutes after 11 if I need them. Okay, I really don't know how far I'm gonna go with this because my throat might just,
If you need me to
Give
read
out.
anything for it.
if I need you to teach the class.
No, well, read. I don't know if I can teach the class.
All right, so we're at Telson's Bank still. We've skipped forward just a little bit. And we're talking about someone who works for them, right? He doesn't work in the bank, but he's kind of like a gopher. He delivers messages. Who is this?
Jerry.
Making sure you're paying
The
attention. Yeah.
person who doesn't like,
And he's,
Mr. Lori doesn't like his voice.
Mr. Spiky Haired Man.
that's probably why he's not working in Telson's Bank. He's older, he's really rough, but he's just too rough for his liking, right?
He doesn't like Jerry's
Now,
voice.
it says that he is a live sign of the house, though. So we're speaking of the bank and its state, the state that it's in, and it says he's the live sign of the house. What does that mean?
He's like
as
one
far
of
as
those
who
people
he
that
is.
stands in front and like waves the sign
I
around
doubt.
back and forth and stuff and go over here.
I highly doubt that.
Well, he's the sign of the bank.
He's a
He's
he's a symbol of how it is, the state of it, inside and out. Inside and out is what we're talking about here. He also has a son. How's his son described?
Jerry.
Mini him, but nastier.
Jerry Jr. Yeah, and he is just like his father, right? He even despises his mother. What's the issue with their mother?
They
She's
don't
a
want,
Christian.
and they don't want her praying against them.
Why do they not want her praying? Why does it make him so angry?
Because she prays against them or something, and it gives them like really bad luck.
Or
No,
he
she
thinks.
prays.
Does she
They-
pray against him though?
think
No,
she
no,
does.
she said she prays for them.
She
Yeah,
says she's
they
praying
think
for a
she
blessing, and he's like, get up off the floor. Why are you always flopping down on the floor?
Stop flopping. He literally said stop flopping like 5 times.
He did. What does he call her? There's something that he calls her. He can't pronounce the word.
Oh, I can't pronounce the word. It's Agraway.
Say it out loud. So what sounds like what?
Aggravator.
Aggravator. He's not an educated man by any means. He's a very rough man.
Wait, it's
He
supposed to be
doesn't know.
aggravator?
It's supposed to be aggravator. He's calling her his aggravator, but he doesn't know how it's properly
I didn't know how to pronounce it. And it's aggravator.
aggravator, because he's mispronouncing it. It's
Okay.
supposed to be
I thought
aggravator.
that was her name because I was listening to the audiobook and it was saying Agraway.
Aggravator.
And I was like,
Yeah, aggravator. Yes, it's not her name. That's just, he's calling her and his aggravation. So she's an aggravator. But of course, he's got this Cockney accent, I guess, on the audiobook.
married to her. That I don't know. That I don't understand.
You know, sometimes staying together back then was a lot easier than divorcing. If she got divorced, she's going to be without anything at all. And he might be without dinner every night. So. And you think it's a joke, but it's serious. This is a real problem. It has been all throughout history. We're very fortunate today. Think about that. We're very lucky today. And I don't mean we can just get divorced. That's not what I mean. All right, so Jerry Jr. is just like his father. He does the same he treats his mother in the same way. In fact, he enjoys getting her scared that his father is angry at her. And
He doesn't like rust.
what is the deal with that? At the very end of the chapter, why is he wondering about rust?
Because his dad always had rust on his hands.
He has rust under his fingernails, on his fingers, on his hands, and Jerry Jr. is wondering, what is it that he's doing? Because I know he doesn't get that from working, with the bank, delivering messages.
There's no rust
Are we
right
sure
here.
that's rust?
What
or
is
it
he
blood?
doing? Is it rust? That's a good question. And yet he calls himself an honest tradesman, and he says it's my honest work, right?
He's actually a robot and he can't clean under his fingernails. So he won't get there.
That would. This is Charles Dickens, not H.G. Wells. All right, not H.P. Lovecraft, not any of those who take those wild turns like that. All right, so if he is a live sign of the bank, and he's got something strange under his fingernails, he's calling himself an honest tradesman, and yet there's these secrets, and he's having this almost this guilt, like this conflicted conscience from several chapters in the first book. Remember, he was having this conversation and wondering what's the secret mean. If recalled to life has come into fashion, Jerry, you're going to be in trouble. So that gives us a glimpse of how the bank operates as well. Yeah, it looks like it's okay. They're helping people. I guess they don't want to, take too much for themselves. But that's on the outside. What's really going on? All right. So we're going to move on to chapter 2. So there's some foreshadowing that we end with there that Grayson pointed out about the rust underneath his fingernails. And Eliza pointed out, is it rust? We don't know. So moving on to chapter 2. Now this one, we're going to skip over a lot of this one. It does have a lot of description. It's got some dialogue here.
It's mostly
I want to
just
hit the important parts. Yeah, I want to hit the important parts of this one because we do have, I believe in chapter 3, there's quite a lot. And there's quite a lot of dialogue that goes on, especially when we get to the courthouse, the Old Bailey. Okay, so we have Jerry. He's told, once again, to take a note because he's the delivery guy, right? Take a note to Mr. Laurie at Old Bailey. What's the Old Bailey?
Is it a courthouse?
It's a stage.
Are we asking? The Old Bailey, yeah. Old Bailey. It's the law court. And he's going to stay there until Mr. Laurie needs him, right? So he's just going to hang around. And because he's going to hang around, he kind of gets a glimpse of everything that's going on. And what happens once the court proceedings begin, because there is a trial going on, who do we see? We've got a new character who steps out.
Charles something or something?
Charles Darnay. Now, side note here, there are a lot of people, this is not confirmed by Charles Dickens whatsoever. There are a lot of people who are Dickens experts who think that it's possible that Charles Darnay is Charles Dickens, that he wrote himself into the book in a way. We have CD, those are the initials, right? Thank you guys.
Thank you.
So we have the same initials as Charles Dickens.
You're
We
welcome.
also have, as we get into this, we'll see more of how Lucy Manette fits into this. And I want you to think about Charles Dickens's relationship with, what was her name? Ellen Turn something. Turn
The
something.
actress.
The actress. Okay. So Dickens kind of confirmed that his inspiration for Lucy was Ellen, this actress, this young woman, this young beautiful woman. So maybe you'll see some similarities between the author and Charles Darnay, and maybe you'll say, I don't know, maybe this guy thought a little highly of himself, but that's what some people believe. He never confirmed it, but he never said anything about it. It's just what some people speculate.
So he never denied it.
Guilty until proven innocent, as we'll find in the French Revolution, right?
Yeah.
So, speaking of guilty until proven innocent, we've got Charles Darnay, and he's a pretty calm, chill guy, except that he looks like death, right? And he's kind of described that way as well. He's kind of described like a dead man. He's so pale, he's just completely flushed, he's almost zombie-like, terrified. All of the people are looking at him. Why are all the people there?
Because they want to see someone die.
Because this has become a part of everyday life. Death. They actually want him to be guilty.
They're like, die, die,
Yeah.
die.
It reminds me of like the Roman Colosseum.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. This is essentially the Colosseum all over again. Entertain the people, give them what they want, give them blood, give them death, and then they won't be thinking too much about their own problems.
It was entertainmented bread.
Who needs bread if you've got blood? I mean, you still need
Everybody, because everybody's dying.
Everybody's dying. You don't need bread if everyone's dying.
You don't need bread if everyone's dying.
So we see Darnay, but how does Lucy react? Because she's there too. Why is she there? I'll ask that first. Why is Lucy even there?
Because she's a witness.
She's acting as witness, so is her father, right? Are they witness against or for Charles Darnay? They're against. Not- Not because they want, that's just the side that they have to be on because they've been called to be witness,
Well,
right?
I think she kind of likes him though, and because she's like,
She
it's
kinda
a
likes
set.
him.
Well, back of the book it says they get married, so she must like that.
Hey, Eliza,
It
that's a
says-
spoiler.
It says
It was definitely gonna happen.
okay.
It
I
doesn't.
didn't read the
It doesn't
back of
spoil that much. Trust me.
Oh,
Okay.
it does say that.
Guys, we have so much going on in this book that it's just like a tiny little piece of it. All right.
Darn it, it doesn't say it on the back of mine.
I have nothing on the back of my book at all.
Sorry,
So
guys.
Well, you have that little
it's
thingy.
this little emblem. That's it.
We still haven't gotten introduced to Sydney Barton.
Well, yeah, my favorite. My favorite character. Yes. All right. So moving on. We have to move on because we're halfway. All right. That's not bad. So, how does Lucy react though to him, to seeing him on trial? She sobs because she's just constantly doing that. She's emotional.
She's over dramatic.
She's over dramatic, yes. But in this case, maybe that's warranted.
Somebody dropped a cup.
I mean, we kind of, we kind of criticize her because of how just fragile she is. But when you think about it, everybody else during that time has been so hardened by the events that they're going through, the starvation, the executions, the dying, the blood, the gore, all of that, right? She is almost this innocent, hasn't been corrupted by that way, that culture. And in a way, we would also, I mean, if these things were happening, if I thought that my father was dead my whole entire life, and then somebody says, no, he's alive, you're gonna go see him. And I might be crying and fainting, I don't know, I've never fainted before. But
Never fainted before.
if I see someone on trial and maybe here in an hour, they might not have a head and it might be next door to Telson's bank, I might be, you know, crying and fainting and swooning as well. So I can't really criticize her. She kind of seems a little bit annoying in the book, at least to me.
Not to me.
But honestly, yeah, it might not be how you feel about her, but honestly, that is the correct emotion to have. That's precisely what you should do if somebody's about to get their head lopped off, right? Unless you're, I don't know, some of these boys back here in the back who like that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
all right, so what's he on trial for? This is important.
For
The letter.
conspiracy theories.
Which is called, traitors commit treason. He is on he's on trial because they're accusing him of treason.
A friend.
And back then, it was a lot more of you have to prove yourself innocent because you're guilty in the people's eyes at least, and much of the time the court's eyes as well. They didn't care. We got the guillotines now. Let's just send them right through. It's easy.
Conveyor belt.
Conveyor belt.
You just need to invent a conveyor belt now. Conveyor belt guillotine. Just like lie them down on it.
Ah, I see you've been reading Ray Bradbury books. All right. I want to move on to well, before we move on to chapter 3, Sidney Carton is introduced in this as well. Let's talk a little bit about him real quick. What is he like
He's
in
made
this
out of
chapter?
milk. He's
Huh?
a carton. He's a carton of milk.
He doesn't really care about life. He looks like Charles Darnay a bit.
He
doesn't
looks
fit
like
in.
Charles Darnay. Why? And why? How does that even come about?
They're secretly long lost twin brothers. It says it on the back of the book.
What?
I'm kidding. It does it.
They're secretly long lost twin brothers.
And they're living together and they don't know that.
Wait, they're living together?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean,
Look,
Yeah.
if you read a summary of this book, you'd still miss out on more than half of what I'm going to
it
quiz
would
you
be
on.
easier than reading
Promise,
the book,
because
though.
there's so much in this. It's insane. Like it's hard for me to keep up with the characters and what they do and when did they do that and what chapter. It's a lot. So you'll forget more probably than you remember. But I want you to get a lot of the symbolism and the theme that's running throughout the book, rather than trying to just remember little events and characters. Yes.
Can I just watch like a 20 or 30-minute documentary on YouTube?
They have a couple of this has been made into a movie a couple of times, but from what I've heard, I've never seen them. It's not that true to the book. They're not like terrible movies or
But what
anything,
about
but
documentaries?
Yeah, like summarize.
a documentary
study
on A
guide.
Tale of Two
Or
Cities.
like
You watch a documentary on the French Revolution. I don't know if there's a documentary on the
well,
Tale
like
of Two Cities.
a summer, like a Tale of Two Cities summarized or something.
Good luck on your quiz.
Mm-hmm.
Is Sidney Carton a lawyer?
All right, so who's Sidney Carton? Yeah, he is a lawyer technically, but he is really the jackal is what they call him, right? And a jackal they aren't meaning like he's like this animal. There is some symbolism there as well. But a jackal is somebody who kind of does the grunt work for someone else.
Kind of like a fox. A little
He
bit.
he's the person who, Sydney, I need you to put together, compile a list of all this. Sydney, I need you to talk to the clients. Sydney, I need you to run here and do
I
this.
was thinking called like the horse or something then.
The horse.
He's in
It's
it.
just it's just a jackal. And who is the person that he works with, but really for?
The lion.
The lion.
The
He's
Striver-
called the
Striver.
Lion.
Somebody Striver.
Striver. He's called the Lion. What's that have to do? What would that be? This
he
is
just kind of
symbolic.
sits around and looks pretty.
And he gets the glory for everything. Sydney is actually the more clever one, and
Sydney is the she lion.
There you go. Sydney does all the hunting, and
Oh, okay.
Shriver gets all the glory.
So I was about to
and
say,
the food.
Devin, that's super gay.
There you go.
But I'm wondering, why was he incapable of his own help and his own happiness?
This is a running theme throughout the book, so I can't really answer it, but we're going to see more of that. So that's an important part as well. Sidney Carton and his outlook on life, who he is, and contrasting that to Charles Darnay. We're actually going to contrast Sidney to multiple characters throughout the book.
It's like,
Sidney is a big character.
It's like an Australian hitman, kind of.
Australian hit what?
Sydney.
I didn't get that, but
Sydney.
You just run after him with giant spiders or what?
so in one part of the book it says that he kept looking and staring at the ceiling while everything's going on. Everybody else, their eyes are on Charles Darnay. Everybody's waiting, and then they see Lucy, and then everybody's eyes are on her. But he's just seems to be aloof. Who does that remind you of?
Hikaru Nakamura.
In this book, who does that remind you of?
Charles Barney.
How about a woman?
Oh.
Madame
the
Defoche. Madame Defoche.
Sitting
Right?
in it and not
She
seeing anything.
seems like she's not paying attention, but she's probably taking in more than you think. She always seems to be where the action is, but she just, I'm minding my own business. So in the same way, he seems to be just minding his own business, just looking around. And yet, he has a lot to say about Charles Darnay. So, what happens with Charles Darnay? We're just going to skip right ahead. Skip. Because I want to get into this long trial that we have here, this dialogue where we have the witnesses come forward, they're questioned. We have Miss Manette, we have her father. They don't want to help the prosecution, but they must testify to the truth, right? But ultimately, and I forgot to tell you exactly what he's on trial for. So he's accused of treason against the British Crown for passing military secrets about British troops to the French during the American Revolution. That's a lot. But remember when I told you that France, their involvement in the American Revolution had all but bankrupted them, and this was a huge deal. And now, Britain being involved, France being involved, it's kind of like, well, if you're the friend of my enemy, you're my enemy. Okay, so England and France, they're not at war with one another technically, but there is this almost like a Cold War, or almost like a lead up to a war. Neither one trusts each other. Everybody thinks that everybody else is spies. People are being imprisoned and executed for being spies, or just even being immigrants, just even having the opposite background. What's that? What?
They're
Was
trying
that
to
even
speak
words?
French, but
They're trying to
instead they're speaking gibberish.
No.
It's close.
You're going and
So where's the turning point in the trial? What is said or pointed out that all of a sudden now everybody's doubting whether or not Charles Darnay is really the person that they saw?
That one guy Sydney looks like him.
Sidney Carton looks just like him. Maybe it wasn't Charles Darnay that we saw. Maybe we've made a mistake. So all that has to be done in a trial is to plant a seed of doubt. That's why we say beyond a shadow of a doubt. Right? You can't convict someone if you have a certain degree of doubt that they actually did it. You might be fairly certain that they did it, but that's not good enough. You have to be pretty certain, beyond reasonable doubt. So now there's a seed of doubt thrown in there. We have Carton once again. He does not even care that he looks like Charles Darnay, or so he says. He's still staring at the ceiling, even when everybody is swooning over Lucy Manette and how beautiful she looks, especially in comparison with the whole crowded, disgusting, decrepit courthouse. Right, all of the masses. Dickens,
Let's ignore the ugly person we're gonna kill.
he looks like a dead man, right? This is symbolic too. Charles Darnay looks dead. This is what Dickens keeps repeating throughout, how dead he looks. He looks like a corpse. He's absolutely horrified. He's sick to his stomach. He's afraid because in an hour he might not have a head.
How much of a body left?
Or yeah, I mean,
Yeah, wasn't he gonna get
Depending
his like,
on what you think.
organs torn out, burned before him, and then his head chopped off?
right. Yep. So drawn and quartered. Who knows what drawn and quartered is? You guys pretty much said it. You, of course, you know. What is it?
So,
What's drawn
well,
and quartered?
drawn, isn't that where they take the guts out of them and then they throw it in the fire? Or am I thinking of something else? Well, they take the guts out of him and then they cut him into 4 pieces. And then with one person, they took the 4 pieces and they toured him around the world.
Who in history can you think of somebody who's drawn and quartered? Famous person. William Wallace. Yeah. Have you seen the movie? And ask your parents.
started-
because
I listened to the
there's some stuff in it, and it's not quite true to history. But I'm telling, Mel Gibson did a pretty spectacular job acting, which that's the case with most of his movies. It might not be historically accurate exactly. The Patriot was another one. It was, yeah,
We
but
watched those.
great acting, right? All right, so his eyes are still on the ceiling. He seems not to care. What happens with Charles Darnay? Is he guilty or innocent?
Innocent.
Innocent, which is,
Which
it
is
shocks
so
everyone.
sad, 'cause they don't do this.
It shocks everybody, but he's acquitted. And so, thinking of our major overall theme of recalled to life, which I've told you the whole book, we're going to look at that theme over and over again. It's the running theme. What does that say about recalled to life when we're thinking of Charles Darnay?
He was on death's edge.
He's and then he's acquitted, and who essentially helps him to get acquitted? Think about the
The
golden
guy.
thread, because that's the subheader of our book 2, right? Book the second is the golden thread. Who's the golden thread?
The lady
Lucy Manette.
Miss Manette.
She has recalled her father to life. Every room that she walks into, she seems to almost recall it to life too. Everybody takes their eyes off of Darnay, looks straight at her, like she's this angel of light.
And she is.
She's recalling everyone to life over and over. It doesn't say angel of light.
She's actually secretly an angel.
Secretly an angel. There you go.
To like some, I don't know.
So once again, she recalls a man to life. Okay? This is the sappy, romantic Charles Dickens.
I liked it.
It's good. This is an age-old truth. There's a reason why archetypes work. It's because they're age-old from the dawn of time. This is what's written out all throughout Scripture. We have this constant theme as well. It's just that Dickens didn't really know that he's borrowing from our worldview once again. Remember?
Doesn't Sydney also like her?
Murder!
Huh?
Doesn't Sydney also like her?
Yeah.
So let's go on.
It says that on the back of
Let's go into, well, you should know, I mean, come on. You read chapter 4 and chapter 5, come on. Do you really believe Sydney when he's like, she's just like a doll, who cares? She's not beautiful.
Look at her, she's so
Do you really believe him? He's envious of everyone. All throughout this chapter, he's complaining about what he doesn't have and what Charles Darnay does have, or what he doesn't have and what Stryver does have. And then Lucy pops into his head and he's like, yeah, she's just totally ugly. I mean, is he believable? Yes.
So, doesn't he sort of think that Charles likes her? Is he gonna try and kill Charles and then try and beat Charles? And
Are you asking me for spoilers?
Yes.
Okay, so Sidney Carton is my favorite character. I'm sure he's many people's favorite character who've read the whole book, but I like him because he's not, without trying to give anything away, there are many people in this book who are definitely not heroes. Okay, these are real people. Not everybody is so cut and dry as like, there's our hero, our protagonist, right? And not everybody is just simply a villain either. And we have this internal conflict in a lot of the characters, and especially in Sydney as well. And so what we need, if you guys remember from IEW, when we did like our story sequence chart, at the end of a book, you need to have, if it's a story, the regular story format, you need to have the resolution. It doesn't mean everything works out. It doesn't mean it's a good resolution. It just means how does it end? How does everything figure in and
It ends
tie
with
up the end of
everybody
it?
dying.
How does it work? Maybe it is everyone dies. That is
I looked at
that
the
is a
last
resolution.
word of the book and it didn't say anything about death.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people. If they all died in the book, that I mean, they could. There's a it's the French Revolution, guys.
No. I survived. I survived Hamlet.
You survived Hamlet.
Yes, everybody else died. I was the only person that didn't
Which
die. in
character
Hamlet.
were you?
Hamlet's best friend. I can't remember.
Like a tree or something like that?
He had the same
Hamlet's
part
best
as
friend?
me.
Hamlet's friend? You didn't even have a name, you're just Hamlet's
Yeah, I
friend.
can't remember what my name was. It
Was that
started with an A.
Horatio?
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Because we
I
have to
didn't
get through
die.
this.
That was fun.
This is a long one too. All right, so in the very beginning, the very first paragraph, we have where it says they're congratulating him on his escape from death. This is talking about Charles Darnay. So once again, he's bringing to mind recalled to life. All right, and then it says, to kind of give you an answer, at the beginning of the third paragraph there, she was the golden thread that united him to a past beyond his misery and to a present beyond his misery. So all of the turmoil that he's gone through in between, she's the golden thread. So that gives you the answer right there. You don't have to wonder. Lucy is the golden thread. But she's not just the golden thread in her father's life. She's going to be the golden thread all throughout the book. In many lives. All right. So, turning the page. Spoilers. Not spoilers. That's not a spoiler at all. I try not to give out too many spoilers. Eliza, on the other hand,
Doesn't care.
she's
I
just,
thought everybody knew, okay?
she just doesn't care.
Mr. Choppy got lots of spoilers. I was like,
Yeah,
what?
he did.
Did he?
Oh yeah.
I mean, he probably expects that some people are going to be like, I just can't resist. I want to see what happens at the end. You could see some of what happens at the end, but there is stuff happening all throughout the book. Okay, so you'd have to go to a lot of different places with this because remember, it's 3 books in one as well. All right, so we have this setup. He tells us who the golden thread is, and then we've got them all congratulating Darnay on his verdict that he's been recalled to life. And then Carton invites Darnay to a tavern for dinner. Why? He seemed so disinterested, but afterwards he wants to invite him out for dinner at a tavern. Why?
That Charles can like be strengthened again, maybe.
He
And
wants
that
to see what Charles thinks of Miss Manette.
He's curious and he kind of sees his,
Murder plot.
it's kind of like the anti-Sidney Carton. Okay, he sees a reflection of himself, and yet it's the opposite. So I'm gonna give you. It's not a spoiler, but we're definitely gonna be coming back to this, and you'll want to write it down if you can't remember these things.
30 seconds.
But Darnay and Carton, we want to compare and contrast them because there's a lot going on between these two men, and it will be a lot going on throughout the entire book. We're going to come back to them all the time. So if we did, let's say, like a Venn diagram of Carton and Darnay, what are similarities that they have? Just from what we've gathered from these few chapters.
They have a vowel in their name.
They both look
Yes.
similar.
They look similar.
They
They're
both
about the same
like
age.
Miss Lucy.
They both, even though Carton doesn't want to admit it, he sees something in Lucy Manette that is kind of making him
They're both
obsessed.
in love with Lucy.
Yeah, one is very open about it, right? But the other,
The other is like,
denial.
what? No, I don't feel like her.
She's totally a go.
do they both not really like each other?
I mean, they have a discussion here. Did you read it?
Well, yeah.
They talk about that, right? What are some big differences between them?
One's more like staring at the ceiling.
One doesn't really care about life and the other one does.
One doesn't really care about life, the other one definitely cares about his life. Yeah. One is pretty miserable with his life and the other one seems to have more of a positive outlook, right? Darnay does. What about how their lives have gone? We'll see more throughout the book, so I don't expect you to know everything about their lives. We'll unfold more of that, but in a way, I would say, and this is very important, that being a mirror of himself, Carton, right? Darnay is like a mirror reflection for him. He sees all of what could have been with his life. Okay, if you want to write down anything, that's what you should be writing down. He sees lost possibility. He sees this success that he could have had he not been, I don't know, made some of the life decisions that he had made. And he sees in a way how Lucy has redeemed Darnay, and he envies that for himself because he's not recalled to life just yet. Maybe in a way Lucy is recalling him to life because he's starting to have all of these feelings and all of this internal dialogue, this envy, this anger, which could go disastrous for him, or he could turn it almost into like a motivation. And we're gonna see what he does.
Or he could get in the guillotine.
Everybody, you get a beheading and you get a beheading and you get a beheading.
If
All right.
guess the correct number, you
So-
get a free beheading. Yay!
One thing that was very interesting to me is that when Darnay is questioned, he essentially, like, they've congratulated him and everything, and he's now got new life, right? His life is not over. He can actually continue on living. He almost seems to say that I can't say. That same thing that Dr. Manette said. He doesn't know what he's going to do or why, and he almost has this feeling of, did you want to be recalled to life? Are you happy you've been recalled to life? And he's more of a, I can't say. I don't know what's going on. All right, but he does know that he loves Lucy, and it's like love at first sight. All right. So, does Carton like Darnay? No, and he tells him outright, I don't like you. Why did you invite me to the tavern then, man? I don't know.
Because I want to know if you like the girl I like.
Yeah,
I know
stay
I
away
have
from
to
Lucy.
murder
But
you.
I don't like her and she's ugly. Makes no sense. But this is how, not saying any of you, this is how guys act sometimes. They're not being very mature. No, I don't like her, but you can't have her. All right? So, in a way, we have a tale of two cities, but in a way we have a tale of two men as well. Okay, and they are going to kind of represent England and France.
I like men better than cities.
The tale of two men.
That sounds a little better.
All right, let's get to the last chapter. It's called The Jackal. So who are we talking about?
Sorry. What? Same thing.
What was that? Carton, Sydney Carton.
Well, for a second, I
You
thought it
can't
was
just
dating
laugh
jackals,
at people when they get
but
the
then
answer
I realized
wrong.
that I'm thinking of a hyena.
All right.
I'm thinking of a hyena, not
So
a jackal.
yeah, a jackal is completely different. They're kind of they're very clever dogs, kind of like a hyena. They're very clever, but they're cowardly. They're scavengers. They're not thought of in a positive
They're
light.
also more Middle Eastern animals.
Jackals? I have no idea. I know about the dingoes.
They're the singing African.
Jackals are African?
More around that area, I
You know about the singing dogs?
No.
They're at the zoo in Sioux Falls.
What?
I don't know if they're the zoo in Sioux Falls. The singing dogs.
Are they jackals?
They're kind of like jackals, but they kind of can like, I don't know, they kind of can sing almost.
I don't like that, that's weird.
They're like in the zoo.
I don't like that. That's weird.
They're big.
All right, quiet down so we can get through this because we have like 5 minutes left. So we spend a lot of time going through dialogue between Stryver and Sydney Carton. And we have comparison between those two characters as well. So what are they like? What are the similarities between the two of them?
Wine drink.
Huh?
Wine drinking.
They both like to drink, but what's the difference between Sydney and Stryver
Their names are
as
different.
far as how they drink?
How they drink?
Sydney pretends to.
I mean, Sydney just gets completely drunk.
Oh.
He has no self-control. He just completely indulges. And then he gets mad at everybody else because he's kind of the loser in a way. He is.
Oh, bum.
And yet he's extremely intelligent, more so than Stryver, but because of his indulgences, because of his lack of self-control and his impulsive behavior, so Stryver gets the glory for it. Because he's the more stable one, right? So we have an envy between not only him and Darnay, but also him and Stryver. So how do we end this? What are they talking about near the very end? Who are they talking about near the very end of this?
Miss Manette.
Miss Manette. Because she just keeps popping up in conversation. And once again, Carton is confronted with, oh, she's so beautiful, and the whole court was looking at her. I know you noticed her because he was the first to notice that she was getting a little woozy, and right? So he seemed to have some care for her. Matthew. And yet, what does Carton say once again?
Oh, she's so ugly.
She's not anything special. She's a golden-haired doll.
And then he like cries into his pillow.
And then he cries all night into his pillow and he falls asleep.
That's okay.
Does somebody who doesn't like a girl and thinks she's just a golden-haired doll and he doesn't care about anything cry himself to sleep in his pillow?
No.
Yes.
Probably not.
Let's pretend.
I don't know what you do every night, Grayson, but I'm just saying. Maybe that's how you fall asleep. I don't know.
No. I fall asleep after stressing myself out too much.
So then we come to the very final quote, the last paragraph, and I wrote it up here. What is this talking about symbolically? It's the last paragraph in your book. Sadly, sadly, the sun rose. It rose upon no sadder sight than the man of good abilities and good emotions, incapable of their directed exercise, incapable of his own help and his own happiness, sensible of the blight on him, and resigning himself to let it eat him
Depression.
away. Depression?
That's not the last paragraph of my book. The last
This chapter.
paragraph. Oh, you did say the chapter. You said the book.
I think you know.
She's kind of like
No, she
Mr.
said
Manette.
books.
Kind of like Mr. Manette. He was like in jail for a long time, and he's kind of living in his own.
Buried
prison.
alive.
Yeah.
So he has good emotion. He's a sensible person. He's very logical, right? He has ability too. And yet he's resigned himself to simply just be eaten away by his circumstances and his decisions. And yet the sun is rising, which we know from a few chapters back.
Lucy.
The sun rising is a symbol of being recalled to life. So, while Carton hasn't necessarily been just fully recalled to life just yet, we see glimpses of it in his emotions that he probably hasn't had before. Right? Maybe he's never been in love before, and he's experiencing this for the first time, and he doesn't know what to do with it, and so he just gets angry and denies it.
And wants to kill everybody.
And
What?
everybody else is in love with her too, so now we have a conflict. We have this love triangle, except it's more like a hexagon or something. It's like, it's big.
It's not a triangle. It's a parallelogram.
So it's probably like a dodecahedron.
Yeah. Duodecahedron.
All right, so we're going to, by Friday, you need to have read, if you haven't read chapters 1 through 5, you need to get started, read all those, just scan through them at least. We've talked about a lot of it. Read chapter chapters 6 through 10. We're gonna stop at chapter 10, and we are not gonna have a quiz. It'll be not this Friday, but the next Friday we will have a quiz because we'll be finished with book 2 by then. So it's a lot of reading that we're building up to. This is not a lot of reading just yet. There's gonna be more that you're gonna have to do. So get disciplined, get good, start reading.
Get with
Get
it.
good. Get good. Get good.
Read a couple chapters every day, at least 2 or 3. Start now, because you're gonna wanna discipline yourself for what's coming.
Is it okay to listen to audiobooks instead?
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't care if you wanna read or listen. It's good to have the book out in case you ever need to run to it and be like, I don't know what it was just said, I don't get it.
Apparently this one is unabridged. Apparently this one is abridged.
Oh,
Brown's got the original.
Thank you. Well, Mom, actually, I
uh-oh.
Our mom.
Mrs. Big, she wants some pictures.
Oh, goodness.
So we're free.